Hello everybody, here we are. It's the Coinbase hot swaps with Rez and with Apex. It's EliGE, it's Hunter, CeRq, I'm joined by Karrigan. It's the fall season, boys. The fall season of 2022. Way more roster moves than some people can keep up to. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on roster swaps, negative and positive.
Vitality.
Let's say vitality.
I think the vitality change with bringing Spinx reminds a lot about the Faze with Rob's joining. An upgrade in kind of the role and the position and the philosophy of the team.
For me, honestly, Vitality signing Spinx, I think it's a very good move because Spinx, I know he's a really good guy and a really good player, honestly, and that's the piece they needed. No excuses for them. They have a really good team. I'm including, of course, only coach. So yeah, I think no excuses for them. I think they'll be really good this season.
I didn't really think that ENCE was doing too bad. Like maybe they needed to change something to like improve them, but you know they were like a top team like this entire year. Sure. So to see that change was pretty surprising for me.
Final seconds, last few days right before we kind of get back into action. You guys have a huge signing in Spinx. I had ZywOo in here earlier, and he told me that it already feels like Spinx has been on the team for months. That this guy just showed up, slotted right in, wants to work hard, good mentality, good communication. Do you agree with ZywOo?
Of course I am. I would say that for us last year was, the first 6 months of the season was a bit of a mess. We couldn't find our form most likely because of rules. We had like 2 real entries and no like real lurker, so that was kind of hard to play on some situations. Dupree and Misuta had to swap like roles sometimes coming in the group to entry, sometimes like lurking. So we took, I think, one of the best lurker right now, who is Spinx Lotan. He's been fantastic for the first 6 months in his role. And we try to not change his role at all, almost. We try to put him in best condition when he arrived into the team, both in CT and T side. We try to do that. Of course, he had some changes because we had also maps where we felt really comfortable, and he just had to fill the gap. But other than that, I think he's a really hard worker. He's been there obviously for maybe 2 years in professional, but he has a really good communication as well. He's playing like really well. I mean, yeah, we could feel that he has some like good things to get into the team, and that's really nice.
Just because yesterday I had Apex in the exact same seat say to me that in terms of which rosters look good, which rosters look bad, what maybe was underwhelming, he said not Team Liquid. He really likes the fact that YEKINDAR and you kind of have like a stylistic comparison, and he thinks that could actually go incredibly well for Liquid. So, it's not the first time we've seen YEKINDAR with you guys, but it seems like you're getting more and more stability, therefore more and more practice. And how does that kind of compute to you coming into the new season?
YEKINDAR's style is obviously really helpful. He's a really aggressive player, and he knows how to read the map really well. And it just kind of opens up, me, everyone else a lot more.
Because I think it's fair to say that this offseason, this roster swap, we had some teams that just kind of kept it cool, smaller pieces. G2 is one of the bigger, I would say, question marks. Just because if you look at G2 historically, some of the biggest signings, you're picking up G2 Nico, huge announcement, super epic. The G2 Monacy signing. This time, I want to describe G2's roster moves as less is more, in the sense that I think, what you picked up is arguably on paper what you guys needed. HooXi has done great things with Copenhagen Flames, and now he's working with some pretty phenomenal tools. So, what can you start to tell us about this new G2 with 2 new players?
I mean, first of all, it's not easy for us that we are starting from zero, like in 6 months, 2 times, I'd say, like 8 months. Like at the beginning of this year, we brought Remy, Xtas coach, we brought Alexi, new IGL, and new Oper Monacy. So we needed to start from zero.
I think 8 months with a high-profile in-game leader is a big change to only give like 7 months, right? The LXCB did a great job in the beginning. I feel like in another world they would have won Katowice against us there, and maybe they would have changed everything. But I think there has been discussion that either they have to change now or give Alexi 4 more months, and I think they decided just to regroup the whole thing and think about something else.
And after like 7 months, it didn't work out, so we decided to do other moves, and again, we needed to start from zero. So it was not easy for us. Again, new IGL, different vision than Alexi, and obviously it's really not easy. And yeah, JKS, I mean, he just came here I mean, we all know who is YEKINDAR and what he was doing before in 100 Thieves, in Renegades, and especially at the beginning of this year, like winning Katowice as a stand-in with Faze. So
Biggest takeaway was probably HooXi and YEKINDAR.
Yeah.
Those guys, G2. I think it's really it feels like it can go either way. Either it can go really bad or really good, because you know it's gonna be interesting to see how HooXi, like how he controls that team and how he's gonna IGL, because I think comparing Flames and G2 is like completely different, and in like the whole aspect of the team, like I think it's gonna be a challenge for him.
I think G2 on the papers, like people are like scratching their head, like thinking it could make sense, but it could also like when you look player for player, it looks worse. But we all know that sometimes a player change or philosophy change changes the whole team, right? So I think it's a high risk that they actually let LXCB go.
I think YEKINDAR is insane. I think HooXi is maybe a little different style than Alexi.
So I think having HooXi will be a really great add, but let's see how we'll adapt to everyone.
I feel like just in general, this season of roster changes, like, you know, last time it felt like everybody was trying to develop a roster to beat Navi. Are they going to be good enough to fight for #1? Maybe not, but
I think the good example for me are Faze last year.
Okay.
Let's be honest, they've been doing like maybe one playoff in the whole year. They've been like not playing that good. I was like watching them and didn't understand what they were doing. They changed one player and they became the best team in the world, winning four tournaments.
We have a good synergy, we have a good philosophy, we are on the same page, we improve, we talk about mistakes. I think everyone in this team knows that every tournament is an improvement. So we play some bad tournaments, we play some good tournaments, but yeah, last year we picked all the right tournaments and that was the goal.
I thought Dexter to OG was a really big one, where it's like, you know, he had Lisbon as a stand-in, and then he got the permanent spot over Montu, and I mean, after the major run, after what they did, I mean, nobody had OG playing in the playoffs of Lisbon. And
I think for him it's gonna be that hard to adapt to OG because the way he is, and also I think Russian are a bit different in their mentality. So I think for him it's gonna be okay to adapt fast in OG.
ENCE definitely kind of got chopped up on this offseason, right? It's a team that has just progressively gotten so much better over the first course of this year, and then kind of started to taper off a little bit. Personally, when I saw Hades get benched, I thought, okay, you know, it's hard to ignore Sunpayas.
I have mixed feelings, honestly. I feel like Hades did a really good job in ENCE, and I think he was like a core piece for them. Maybe he didn't have the insanely good highlights, and maybe he didn't have insane stats or whatever, but I think he, like if we watch the games, I think he did really well.
This has been the Coinbase Hot Swaps Season 2 of 2022. We'll see you guys in the server.